Beginning, the human and the unknown. Space wasn't silent anymore. The hum of the Terran exploration vessel Odyssey 4 echoed through the corridors as Captain Adrian Cole reviewed the final readings on his scanner. The ship drifted quietly along the edge of Sector Helios 9, a stretch of space forbidden to Terran travelers after the treaty collapse with Illyrians, an alien race known for their intelligence, unpredictability, and shimmering bioluminescent skin. Adrian wasn't supposed to be there. He'd taken the mission under a false pretext, a deep space anomaly study, but his true objective was far riskier. He'd been tasked, unofficially, to locate the Lyrian ambassador's missing vessel, which had vanished near human borders months ago. But fate had its own plans. The distress beacon came through on a frequency no human ship should have recognized. It was weak, rhythmic, like a heartbeat through static. He adjusted the dials, amplifying the signal until a faint voice echoed through the cockpit. To any who can hear this, our vessel is breached. Oxygen critical. Assistance. Please. The voice was calm yet trembling, distinctly Lyrian, distinctly female. Adrian's pulse quickened. Protocol demanded he report it. Morality demanded he act. He grabbed his oxygen mask, sealed his helmet, and powered the shuttle bay. Computer, he said, mark last transmission coordinates. Prepare medical containment. He descended through the wreckage field, guided by flickering blue light from the crashed Lyrian ship. When the shuttle hatch hissed open, the air smelled of burnt alloy and ozone. And there, among the smoke, lay her. She was slumped against a broken console, her silvery blue skin streaked with violet blood. Her hair shimmered faintly under the emergency lights, floating like strands of light itself. Despite the wounds, her presence was commanding, regal even. She looked up weakly. "You're human," she whispered. Adrian crouched beside her. "Yeah. And you're not breathing too well. Let's fix that." "You shouldn't be here," she said softly. "You're kind." "We are enemies." Adrian smiled faintly. "Then you can file a complaint when you're conscious again." Her lips curved, barely but enough. Small smile. The first one he'd ever seen from Illyrian. He carried her back to his shuttle, sealing the airlock as the wreck behind them disintegrated into the void. Middle, the smile and the tease. Hours passed. She lay in the medbay, her breathing steadier, her wounds sealed by regenerative nanogel. Adrian sat nearby, watching the heart monitor blink in rhythm with her faint luminescence. When she woke, her gaze was sharper, studying him with curiosity. "You risked much for me," she said. "Why?" Adrian shrugged. "Because you asked." Her eyes narrowed slightly, amused. "Humans don't often help their enemies." "I'm not a soldier right now," he said. "Just a man who found someone dying." She tilted her head. "A man who disobeys his own laws." "Something like that." A brief silence hung between them, thick but not hostile. Finally she said, "My name is Sarai. Was part of the Lyrian envoy. We were ambushed by scavengers before we could complete our peace mission." "Peace mission?" Adrian leaned forward. "Then you weren't attacking the border?" She shook her head slowly. "No. I was coming to propose a ceasefire." His stomach twisted. If Command knew this, they'd want her alive for leverage. Surge noticed the shift in his expression. "You think of what your people would do with me," she said quietly. "Perhaps sell me for truth or power." "I think of what they'd misunderstand," Adrian replied. "They're good at that." She smiled faintly again, eyes glimmering. "And you? What do you misunderstand, Captain Cole?" He chuckled. That depends. You might have to clarify which alien culture manual I should study first. Suraya's gaze lingered on him, long enough that he looked away. There was something magnetic about her, not just her otherworldly beauty, but her composure. The air around her felt alive. Over the next few days, she recovered rapidly. She would spend hours studying human data on the ship's terminals, asking questions about Terran customs and words that didn't exist in Lyrian dialect, like sarcasm and humor. One evening, as Adrian adjusted the environmental regulator in her quarters, she asked, "Why do humans laugh at things they do not mean?" He turned to her with a smirk. "Because sometimes it's easier than admitting what we feel." Her golden silver eyes fixed on him. "Then why do you laugh when I speak?" He paused, realizing she had noticed. "You're direct. It's kind of refreshing. And intimidating." "Intimidating," she echoed. "You stare like you're trying to read my thoughts." She tilted her head again, that slight smirk returning. "Perhaps I am." He blinked. "You can do that. Sometimes." There was silence. Then Adrian grinned teasingly. "Careful. If you're reading my mind too much, you might fall in love with me." Serge raised an eyebrow. Then, shockingly, she smiled wider. "Fall in love?" He nodded playfully. "Yeah, human term. Happens when someone irresistible spends too much time around you." She leaned closer, her eyes glowing faintly. "Is that what's happening to you, Captain?" Adrian laughed awkwardly. "I was joking." "Were you?" she asked, her tone smooth as silk. "Because I'm not." His breath caught. For a moment, the air between them pulsed with warmth and tension. Suraya's expression softened. "You humans hide truth behind jest. Lyrians do not. When I feel something, I say it." He tried to respond, but she turned away, a quiet smile still on her lips. The conflict, secrets and choices. The peace aboard the Odyssey 4 didn't last. Days later, a Terran cruiser intercepted their coordinates. The comms flashed red. "Commander Huxley of the Terran fleet. Captain Cole, you've crossed into restricted space. Identify the passenger aboard your vessel." Adrian hesitated. His throat went dry. He looked at Suraya. Her expression was calm, but her hands were clasped tightly behind her back. "Captain," Huxley's voice boomed again, "we detect Lyrian energy signatures. You are ordered to surrender immediately." Suraya turned to Adrian. "If they capture me, the treaty will die. They will see me as an enemy, not an envoy." "I can't hand you over," Adrian said. "You mustn't. But if you fight them, they'll destroy you." He gritted his teeth. "Then we run." She stepped closer. "You'd risk your command, your life for me?" He met her eyes. "I already did, the day I carried you out of that wreck." For a second, her glow brightened. Subtle but beautiful. Then she nodded. Together, they rerouted power to the ship's stealth field. As Huxley's cruiser loomed closer, Adrian dove into the shadow of a nearby asteroid cluster. Plasma fire streaked past them, lighting up the dark void like a storm. Suraya raised her hand over the control console. The ship's systems pulsed blue. "What are you doing?" Adrian asked. "Helping you," she said softly. "My kind can interface with energy." The ship's shields flared brighter, absorbing a direct hit. Adrian turned in awe. Her eyes were glowing like molten gold, veins of light tracing down her arms. "You're channeling the power through yourself?" "I am," she said through gritted teeth. "But hurry, I cannot sustain it long." Adrian angled the thrusters, pushing the ship to max velocity. They escaped into deep warp space, vanishing before the Terran sensors could lock.